So you read the title, but rules that might not immediately be obvious since there's no party planning service in this game and because of the chapter structure. So you can pause here to read. I'm specifically using Torneko because he is often seen as the weakest party member, which might just be the case. He sometimes does a random action instead of whatever you order him to do. He doesn't have access to the greatest equipment pool either, and his stats are basically worse in everything when compared to Ragnar. He's not really the fighter type and most of his utility comes outside of combat. Torneko dreams of becoming the greatest merchant, and yet I'm willing to call him virtuously humble. Later in the game he achieves that dream, yet he doesn't want more. He doesn't expand, he doesn't globalize, he is done, he is content. Taloon isn't greedy or gluttonous as you'd assume when you hear the description of an overweight merchant. He doesn't work because he likes spending money, he works because he truly likes his craft. All the profits go to helping the Zenithian hero to save the day. He's using his money to literally save the world. The real life equivalent would be if a corporation didn't have a business model centered around growth, but instead donated all the net income to fighting cancer. He's running his business as if it was a distributive fund. And that might be normal for a small business that's barely scraping by, but he turns huge profits. I mean, Taloon is the Jeff Bezos of this world. And yes, he keeps it as a family business with his wife running the store, but that's ignoring production, which as we know is massive in scale. I previously joked that Taloon was the one merchant that Jesus couldn't expel during the temple cleansing. There is however a bit more truth to this than you might initially expect. The cardinal virtues of temperance and prudence seep out of all his lines of dialogue. In the real world, we have anything from politicians or influencers that would rather reach much rather reach a larger audience with carefully crafted BS than say what they truly believe in. Billionaires that somehow are unsatisfied and try to expand their wealth, or even the young people that no longer dream of a comfortable life but a life of hyper-consumerism. Taloon on the other hand does not yearn for riches. He does not want to have more than. He doesn't care about people's opinions on him. He simply lives his best life adventuring every day instead of getting hung up on profits. How many CEOs donate all their money and do charity work? And Taloon the absolute saint. When another man degrades and belittles him, when someone else declares his happy marriage a fluke, and akin to some 12-year-old red-pilled kid online presumes that he can measure their value, and that this measurement determines whether they're fit to be in a relationship, when this man decides that Taloon's value is lower than his wife's, and that he himself would be better suited to be in that marriage, since he has more to offer than Taloon. And when he says all this to his fucking face, what does my man Taloon do? Doesn't even react. Like a Buddhist monk that mastered sunyata, emptying his soul, Torneko hears all that, but the impressions aren't processed any further. He doesn't condemn the man. He doesn't judge him as beneath him. In fact, he doesn't judge him at all. To Taloon, it's as if the man wasn't even there, and he carries on the same, whether he has that interaction or not. If half of us were half as good as Taloon, there would be no war. So anyways, yeah, he can solo the game. Of course he can. Do you know how strong max level is? It's kind of a silly question, honestly.